Even when they are at their lowest point, the Mafia always manages to surprise people with how much worse things can get for them. In today's video, we will be talking about one of the biggest betrayals in Mafia history. But before jumping into the details, welcome to our channel. If you're not already part of our community, consider subscribing to never miss an upload. And with that said, let's begin. He expanded his territory to neighboring towns, establishing several lucrative bootlegging operations that brought him untold wealth. He earned the nickname Rena, which translates to the swine in English, because of his ability to acquire anything he wants through illegal means. He had to make some pretty powerful enemies along the way. Upon his arrival, he wasted no time in contacting the FBI and giving them enough information to bring down several of Toto's associates. With Michelle safely tucked away in the US, Toto was forced to focus a good portion of his resources on keeping him and his family safe. Still, he managed to expand his empire, and by the 70s, he was the undisputed boss of the Sicilian Mafia. A fierce gunfight ensued, but in the end, the police were victorious. The Sicilian Mafia was never the same after Toto's fall. Even after he was released from prison in 1993, he couldn't restore the organization to its former glory. In the end, he spent his last years in hiding, unable to enjoy the fruits of his labor. And with that said, it's time to wrap up this video. If you enjoyed watching, make sure to leave us a like and subscribe for more content. Also, if there are any other Mafia cases you would like to see us cover, let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys next time. They arrested Toto and his remaining family members, ending his reign of terror once and for all, or so they thought. You see, even though Toto was arrested, the war wasn't over yet. His former allies continued to fight each other, trying to claim territory that Toto had lost. For years, the streets ran red with the blood of Sicilians as rival gangs battled for control of the lucrative criminal underworld. He also made an agreement with the heads of the other Italian families to form the Sicilian Mafia Commission. Once again, he was at the top of the mountain. It seemed like nothing could take him down. Well, the answer lies in the fact that they grew up during the Great Depression. Because of this, they saw firsthand how poverty can cause people to do desperate things. And they knew that if they didn't take care of themselves, they would end up back in poverty. So when Toto started making moves to take over the family business, Bernardo knew he had to do something drastic to ensure his own safety. He decided to defect and join the enemy, hoping that they would protect him if he gave them information about his brother's organization. One of these was a man named Michele Navarra, who was a member of the Corleonesi family and the head of the Mafia Commission. We may never know for sure what went down between Bernardo and the police, but one thing is certain. His decision to betray his brother had far-reaching consequences that would eventually lead to the downfall of the entire Sicilian Mafia. This just goes to show that in the end, it doesn't matter how powerful or influential you are. If your own brother can betray you, no one is safe. Realizing that his brother had betrayed him, Toto swore revenge, ordering a hit on Bernardo. So he began to orchestrate one of the deadliest killing sprees in Mafia history. He ordered the execution of dozens of his former allies, leaving no one safe. Michele Navarra, who had been enjoying his new life in America, was one of them. As the body count rose, so did the heat from the police. They had no choice but to flee to a small village in the mountains, where they hoped to lay low for a while. But this would backfire as well. You see, when the hitmen went to kill Bernardo, they found that he had taken his own life. Now, while this may have put an end to Bernardo's involvement in the conflict, it did little to abate Toto's anger. In fact, it only fueled his desire for revenge. As Toto rose through the ranks and established himself as a major player in the Mafia, he often found himself at odds with Michele. Their conflicting interests caused tension between them, eventually leading to open warfare between their respective families. This wasn't unusual in the world of the Mafia. After all, there could only be one boss. But what made this case different was the level of violence that followed. This included hijacking entire trains full of goods, without so much as breaking a sweat. When American soldiers arrived in Sicily during World War II, they heard the name and feared it. Even the highest-ranking members of the Sicilian Mafia Commission feared the man behind the moniker. With such power and influence, it seems like nothing can stop Toto Ryan from achieving immortality. That is, until he gets betrayed by his own brother. There were also rumors of him dabbling in trafficking women for the white slave trade, but these are just that, rumors, at least for now. The year is 1929, and a 5-year-old Salvatore Giuliano wakes up in his family's home in Villa Grazia, Italy. His father is the head of a small criminal group operating out of the town, and even though he was unborn into the life, it is clear from an early age that Salvatore, or Toto, as he was better known, had the makings of a great mafia boss. Unlike his peers, he could read and write, making him perfect for handling the more sensitive side of the business. This, along with the fact that he was able to remain calm in most situations, made him an obvious choice to take over the family business whenever the time comes. And when it came, Toto didn't disappoint. In no time at all, he turned his small local crew into a force to be reckoned with. As the years go by, Toto's reputation grows. See, Toto's rise to power didn't come easy. Toto's men attacked Michel's family, killing his son and forcing Michel to flee to America. But then his brother Bernardo betrayed him, selling information about Toto's family to the police, resulting in the arrest of several high-ranking members of Toto's family. Toto believed that the only way to protect himself from future betrayals was to eliminate anyone who knew too much about his organization. However, the police were hot on their trail and soon surrounded the house where Toto and his family were hiding. Eventually, though, order was restored and the families agreed to a truce. But by this time, the damage had already been done. So what caused this massive betrayal? Why did Toto's brother turn on him? There are also rumors that Bernardo was coerced into becoming an informant by the police. What are your thoughts on this case? Let us know in the comments below.